And that's the key, right? What's your focus? What are you really trying to accomplish? And does it make sense? Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, on these Wednesdays, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing fantastic. Midweek, just hump day hustle, right? That's what we do. So, Matt, the market, the multifamily market is just on fire. Like, it's funny. I was talking to a guy yesterday on the phone, and we were talking, and he's like, oh, I was telling him started researching senior housing, which I'm doing now. I started researching senior housing back in like 2016, and just decided, look, I'm not going to do it. It's going to be a distraction. I just don't know enough about the industry, and I don't have a good partner. Right. So I didn't do it. And now I found a good partner. And so that's why I'm doing it. Right. But he said, why did you start looking at it back then? I said, well, quite frankly, I thought multifamily was going to crash. I thought it was overheated and it was going to crash. He goes, I did the same exact thing. I stopped investing for a while in multifamily because I thought it was going to crash. And so now in 2016, looking at where we're at in 2022, you're going, holy crap. I wish I would have been super aggressive back in 2016, 2017 about everything I could have, because man, look at the market now. Like, geez, we'd never have a crystal ball. And anytime you think you know the answer, you don't, especially when it comes to the economy, it comes to, inflation, price increases, asset valuations, all that kind of stuff. So if we stick to the fundamentals, we'll be fine. But holy cow, look at the market now. I just was met with these brokers. And I talked about it on the last episode in Nashville. I met with these brokers in Nashville, and one of the guys, he tells me that they sold a brand new construction in 2020, summer of 2020, so pandemic, summer 2020, people were very nervous. And so he got a pretty good price overall. Still, paid, it was brand new construction. So he still paid a good amount of price, but they're in the lease out phase. A lot of developers want to sell it while they're still in the lease out phase. They leave a little meat on the bones for the next person that comes in, buys it, but they exit early so they can start their next development, so they can get their capital back working. So that's what happened here. And this guy bought it and he sold it I think it was 18 months later. And he sold it. So he bought it for 21. I think he bought it for 21 million, and he sold it for 28 million 18 months later.
Not bad for a year and a half.
Really didn't do anything. Finished the lease out, and that was it. Not bad, right? Not bad return for a year and a half, but that's the market right now. It's just chugging along really fast. And people go, how long will this last, Matt? And man, it's hard to say. But we could make a full episode, and I think we've done it, on cap rates and where they're going. And you look at US cap rates versus Canada and Europe and all that kind of stuff. And you could make an argument to say, well, when's it going to stop? Right. What's making it stop? Inflation's here. Rent prices are probably going to go up. Also, cap rates are going to continue to go down because U.S. real estate is the best value in the entire developed world.
That's why there's so much foreign money here. People from all around the world know this is the best place.
Right. And it's probably just going to continue to happen. So anyways, that's not our episode today. So Matt, what are we going to talk about today?
Oh yeah, that's what often happens. Is we have an episode topic planned right before we hit record, and then we get on a sidetrack, and then
I get
But
excited
it's all
sometimes,
good.
like things just pop in my crazy brain. I was telling my wife yesterday, like my brain, because we were talking about my daughter, and she does the same thing that I do. Is sometimes my brain just totally goes in a different direction. We'll be like, literally, I'll be in the middle of a conversation, somebody will be talking to me, and my brain just goes over here, and it's like, this conversation is just somebody chirping in my ear, and this over here is what I'm thinking about. And like I have to do like the whole like shake off and like come back to the conversation, come back to, I get into like these little, like if it was a movie, right, you'd be in like this other, like all of a sudden your whole body would go into this other room, like that's my brain. So that's just how it works. That's a little bit of an inner workings there.
All right.
So
Well,
topic today.
yeah. Topic today. What we're actually going to be talking about is a question that I hear a lot of newer investors. Should I become a real estate agent to
Yeah.
help me with my real estate investing?
Yeah, and newer investors, and I actually hear quite a bit from my LPs as well. Like, because they want that depreciation, they want to capture that. So, does it make sense for me to become like a real estate agent? So, there, I would say, here's what I would say: it's not bad. There, there's maybe no negative other than there are negatives, I guess. There's some negatives, there's some positives. So here's obviously the positive is if you want to sell real estate, right? Becoming a realtor is the way to do it. If you want to be able to supplement your income and sell real estate, because you can make some good money. I mean, if you put a little bit of effort into becoming a realtor, you could make six figures fairly quickly if you have less kind of a sales type side to you, right? If you're nervous about talking to people and kind of more, I don't want to say you have to be an extrovert, but if you're very introverted, that type of thing, becoming a realtor probably isn't the right fit. But if you're willing to put the effort into it, you could probably make six figures pretty quick. Even if you don't want to put a ton of effort into it, and go, look, I don't want to put, I'm not putting 40 hours a week. I want to put like 20 hours a week max, maybe 15. You could probably make $40,000 doing that. If you, it might take a little bit more up front. Maybe a couple months of 40-hour weeks, right? Really pounding the pavement, getting your name out there, getting the marketing going. But after that, I think with minimal effort, you could make 30 grand a year, right? So certainly a benefit, definitely, if you want a little bit of supplement. So it's a hard thing to answer, Matt, right? Because what are you really looking for? If you're like, hey, I want to become I want to be a full-time investor, and I want to focus on investing, and I'm going to buy, like, for instance, for me, like, I'm going to buy a 100-unit apartment building. Should I be a realtor? No, like, it doesn't make sense for me. Now, am I a realtor? Right now I am, actually, because I got my real estate license a long time ago because it made sense at the time. But right now, it doesn't make any sense. And actually, it can be a little bit of a negative. So here's a couple negatives for me right now. So I'll talk about my story. So I'll go through why I got it first, and why it maybe isn't necessary anymore. Okay. And I'm actually kind of thinking about, what am I going to do? Am I just going to drop it, or do I keep it? Okay. So why am I thinking about dropping it? I'll cover that first, and then I'll talk about why I got it. So why am I thinking about dropping it right now is because I just don't use it. I don't need the supplemental income, and not that I don't want the supplemental income, but it's a distraction. If I go for it, I can make more money doing what I'm doing, right? With my time. So if I were to take 10 hours and try to make 30 grand a year, that would be a waste of my time. I can make 30 grand a year a lot easier than trying to grind and be a realtor, right? So that financially, it doesn't make sense. That's number one. Number two, I've got I deal with brokers that are selling multifamily. Now, most of them now, I'm out of state, but if I'm in state and they know I'm a real estate agent, they question whether I'm going to take some commission or not. Now, why is that matter? Because it does. These guys and gals want the full commission. They're listing these properties. So, a 200 unit apartment building, there's brokers out there that are hammering for that thing. They want that listing. And they're going, hey, if you give me that listing, you know what? We'll list it for 1%. We'll list it for 1% because they know they're getting both sides of that 1%. And so if I come in as a realtor and I say, hey, I want half the commission, they're going, forget you, right? I'm not going to give you half the commission. I'll give you $5, but I'm not going to give you half the commission. You know, I'm not going to give you anything. Most of them don't want to deal with somebody because they don't have it's a big dollar amount, but they don't have a big percentage and they put a lot of work into it. It's their client. And so they don't want it.
I'm excited to tell you that the North Star Real Estate Conference is going to be this May 2nd and 3rd in the Twin Cities. We're going to have amazing speakers there who will add great value to you. But the real value is in the networking where you can meet potential partners, learn about deals, and make some real money. Our 3 pillars are connect, learn, and succeed because that's what you're going to do. So sign up today at NorthStarUnlimited.live and use coupon code EARLYBIRD for $100 off your ticket.
These multifamily deals, Matt, you're underwriting deals. How many multifamily deals do you get sent by a broker that's for somebody else's listing?
I mean, no, not really.
You never, right? How many times do you call, let's say you see a deal from Cushman Wakefield. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Cushman Wakefield guys or are you talking to Marcus Millichap guys?
Cushman Wakefield. I mean, it's all segmented. Like everybody has their own deals to show you, and they don't cross paths.
Right. And Matt, if you went up to the Cushman Wakefield guys and said, "Hey, just send me every deal that's on the market, everywhere," what are they going to send you?
They're not going to send me anything. They're going to think I'm a loser. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, and if they do send you something, it's going to be what? It's going to be
just Cushman Wakefield, yeah.
Cushman Wakefield deal. Like it's their listing. They're not going to send you the Marcus and Millichap listing. They're not going to send you the ARA listing. They're not sending you any of that stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that sells quote unquote off market, right? And it's to their own list. And so if you're talking to Marcus and Millichap, the Marcus and Millichap guys might not even know the Cushman Wakefield guys are selling that 200 unit property, right? Or they don't have the agreement to sell it. And so if they think you're a realtor, sometimes they don't want to work with you or they question what's going on. Not a huge deal. I can get away. I can say, look, I'm not taking a commission, right? The other thing for me is it's time. I've got to take continuing ed every single year now. So I got to take continuing ed. I got to pay my realtor fees, my dues. You know, I got to pay the money to take the continuing ed. So it's not like a huge amount of money, Matt, but it costs me. You know what? I'd probably have to look at my taxes because I don't track it that much, at least in my head. Like it doesn't take up much headspace, but you know, $1,500 a year. So it's not a ton of money, but it's still $1,500 a year. I mean, that's, you know, a couple plane tickets, right? So yeah, for somebody like me, is it worth it? I'm not using it. It's really not worth it. So why did I get it in the first place? Matt, do you have your real estate license?
No, I don't. I thought about it, but I decided it wasn't the right move for me.
Okay. We'll dive in to that. Okay. Let's get back to why you didn't do it. So when I first started, I didn't have my real estate license, but I was looking at a ton of houses and I was seeing a ton of houses online and I wasn't able to get into all the houses that I wanted to see because the realtors didn't have enough time in the day to show me all these houses. And I was looking at it going, I'm not a full-time like I can't take the tax advantages because I was working full time as a teacher. And so if I got my real estate license, that my CPA said, hey, you get your real estate license and you're able to spend a little bit more time on real estate, we can actually make you a full-time real estate professional. And then your tax benefits will really kick into gear and into high gear. So I thought, that sounds great, right? I want that. I want to be able to have access to all these houses that we're looking at. And I'm looking at these commissions and I'm going, man, we're buying at the time when I first got my license, we're buying like 6 to 8 houses a year. And we're paying, ultimately we're paying that commission. That commission's not going to me, it's going to somebody else. And so I ended up getting my license, because I knew I would make money both on the buy and the sell. So I'd make, we were buying them for cheap. So I'd make $1,000 on the buy and make another 3 to 5 grand on the sell. Okay. So that added up. I got the real estate professional designation. That made a lot of sense. So that's really why I got it. And I thought, it's probably good to have this education to learn. Now, was the education worth it? That actually probably was zero value, honestly, or very little, maybe a little bit, but very little value. All that stuff, I should say I knew everything, but a lot of it didn't really pertain to kind of my profession, right? A lot of it's about how to become a realtor, how to sell to people, all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't doing that type of real estate. Um, so added a lot of busy work to me. Was it worth getting my license? I think I would say almost no. Um, Certainly we saved money, made money on it, but I think I could have probably made more money had I relied on professional real estate agents and just had a couple more agents on my team, basically. Because we couldn't see all these buildings with just one agent. Well, then let's have 3 or 4 or 5 looking for us, right? And getting us into houses, that type of thing. I feel like the time and effort I spent not only getting my real estate license, doing continuing education, but also writing offers, um, you know, all that kind of stuff, all the paperwork that goes along with it. I probably could have made more money and bought more deals had I not got my real estate license.
It can be a distraction.
It was very much a distraction. So, Matt, why didn't you get your real estate license?
Well, I think it's because the type of real estate that I'm interested in. It's I'm solely focused on large multifamily right now, and being a real estate agent doesn't help with that. If I was focused on flipping, then I would strongly consider becoming an agent, just to have access to the MLS.
Flipping. Yeah, like as you said, I was focused on flipping, and I got it, but I think it probably was not the right move. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was flipping, I might consider it. I think anyway, because it gives me access to the MLS. I could maybe create a reputation with the other real estate agents, like, hey, I can close quickly, and so then they would start making deals work for me. So it might make sense then potentially, but with large multifamily, even to at this point I'm dealing with brokers, not agents. And if I was to consider becoming a broker, like that's a whole nother level of that's years of commitment to do that. Whereas becoming an agent, like I could become an agent in a couple of months. It's not too hard in my mind. But yeah, so it's just it'd be a waste of time for me to be an agent at this point.
Yeah, I agree, especially with, like you said, with what your focus is. And that's the key, right? What's your focus? What are you really trying to accomplish? And does it make sense? It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of paperwork, every listing you put in, every deal you're going to sell, a lot of busy work. Look, I've got my real estate license still to this day right now. And I'm looking at listing several properties, and I'm like, I think I'm just going to pay a realtor to do it because I don't want to deal with it. Like, I just don't have time to deal with it. And it's not that much, but it's like, I think I'm just going to pay somebody to do it. So you got to look at really what your priorities are, with that license, and what your goals are. Decide if it's right for you. So back to the LP investors. Um, does it make sense to get your real estate license? It might make sense if you've got a spouse that is not working, and is willing to get the real estate license and put in the hours required. That could make sense, certainly. A little bit of supplemental income, right? Never hurts. They don't have to put in a ton of time, but they do have to put in their 750 hours a year, um, and potentially get that real estate designation. So and by the way, they don't necessarily have to have their real estate license. There's many other qualifications. So talk to your CPA on that. They don't necessarily have to become a realtor. They could be in the mortgage industry. They could be in the title, I think. Anyways, talk to the CPA to find out what else they could do if they're not really interested in being a realtor. There's many other things they could potentially do to get that real estate professional designation, and then make sure, obviously, it helps your tax situation if that's why you're doing it. So for the most part, that's what my LPs are like. Hey, I want to get this depreciation. How do I do it? The answer that I always give is, well, you got to become a real estate professional. So talk to your CPA on how do you do that, because I don't want to tell them what to do. That just gets me in trouble. Yeah. So, I don't know. Is being a realtor right for you? Not sure. You got to decide that for yourself and decide really where your goals are.
I agree. It just depends on what your focus, what your goals are, and if it makes sense to you.
Yep. Well, cool. It's funny because when I got my real estate license, and people ask me what I do, and I'll say, oh, I'm a real estate investor. And most people will just think when I say real estate investor, it means I'm a realtor. And so, oh, you're a realtor, especially early on. Oh, you're a realtor. Ooh, because the market was pretty bad, right? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm like, no, I'm not I'm a real estate investor. I'm buying distressed properties. Oh, then it's probably good for you. Yeah, it is. But everybody, when you tell people you're an investor, most people think you're a real estate agent. So it's just kind of funny. Anyway, just a little side distraction note that I had there. All right. Anything else, Matt?
That's it for today.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, everybody, you have a fantastic rest of the day. Oh, by the way, like I said last week, and I just want to say it again, and I'll probably say it again next week, but we do have the North Star Real Estate Conference coming up May 2nd and 3rd. So sign up now. It's going to be an amazing event. This is our 4th year doing it. And we decided to move it to the spring just because the fall has a lot of conferences. And quite frankly, we're busy in the fall. And so the spring made a lot of sense. So we're moving it May 2nd and 3rd. It's going to be in the Twin Cities. It's going to be at Jimmy's Event Center, which is just a suburb in the Twin Cities. And so we'd love to have you there, whether you're listening from Minnesota or Wisconsin or Florida or California or wherever you're listening from. We'd love to have you come into town, hang out with us for a couple days, and a ton of great, valuable speakers that are going to be presenting awesome information. And we're going to be networking like crazy and hopefully getting deals done there. The goal of the conference is to get deals done. I don't do this conference, Matt. You're not involved in this conference just in order to listen to the speakers. We like the speakers. We love the speakers. We only bring on people that we know, like, and trust and think are going to provide great value. But we like the conference, and we put this conference on to meet the people that are attending. right, to get deals done and to make our business even stronger. So that's the reason why we do it. And we want you there as well. And so we hope we can meet you, shake your hand, get you there. So Matt, how do people get there?
You go to our website, NorthStarUnlimited.live.
NorthStarUnlimited.live. They can get their tickets there, right? They're right now early bird. So get your tickets now before they go up. VIP does sell out. So if you want the VIP, you can really get the full experience. That'll end up selling out. So get those as well.
Yep. Well worth the money.
All right, man. Well, that's it for me. You have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day Saturday.
Thanks, you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. Say, I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. But your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.